Okay, this video reply to Muzz2000, who said, as an atheist or as a Christian, you both buy into beliefs and the system that those beliefs form. I find it very off-putting for any so-called philosopher to comment on a theistic issue. As philosophers often recall, think Plato, think Aristotle, we are ignorant in many ways. Both theists. Philosophy makes us think, and although we have beliefs one way or the other, to state those in the fashion you do in your other videos just seems unprecedented. So you're an atheist. Why is that important? Okay, this video is going to try to address that question. I'm going to go move this downstairs. But before I get started into it, it's a great question. Atheism is not a philosophy, and I think that atheists try to say it is, as well as religious people trying to say that their understanding is itself a philosophy, and it isn't. So that's a great question, and I'll take it downstairs and answer it there. I'll reply more to Muzz2000 in respect to why I would raise atheism. First off, I want to agree with you that I don't like going to somebody's philosophy site, quote unquote philosophy page or whatever it is, and being sold a package of goods on either atheism or theism. I think it's dishonest, and that certainly wasn't my intent. My intent in the first video there was just to introduce that that's where it'll lead. So I'm not trying to be dishonest about that. So I meant a very gentle video on philosophy only as the most cursory introduction. So I would agree with you that atheism is certainly not a philosophy, and the religious and the atheists like to believe that it is, and it isn't. So why would it matter then? Atheism is not a philosophy, but it's something that we couldn't arrive at without philosophy, and the purpose of my videos in the end will be to show how formal philosophy leads directly to atheism on many counts. We could look at the meaning of truth. What is truth? Does truth exist? If so, what is it? And in the religious understanding, it must be absolute, eternal, that is, forever. Whereas we know truth to be systemic and relative to a system. So I would suggest that modern logic completely sides on the sides of an atheist in the same way that modern science does. And this isn't something that's talked about in atheism a lot. So to introduce people to logic, it's a small introduction to philosophy. It's not a deep one. And but the reading may be necessary to get to an understanding of what truth isn't something that's going to just happen here. It's something that somebody has to go elsewhere and see the wide variety of ideas on such an idea, on such a thought like that, such a concept. Here, according to me, truth then would be relative, systemic. Truth is either empirical, which would adhere to the scientific method, confirmable through the senses, and that therefore contingent on the facts. Or truth is tautologous, necessary according to analysis. It's one or the other. It's physical objects and abstract objects. Physical objects being shown through empirical truth, abstract objects being shown through tautologous truth. So the theist doesn't want to learn that kind of principle in modern logic. They must reject it in favor of absolutism and absolute truth, which is true forever. So according to empiricism or tautologies, there's no truths for tomorrow. The Islamic, Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, or Hindu understanding of truth is far separate from anything that we can resolve from modern philosophy or modern logic. There's only one issue for atheism, and that is the existence of God. Keyword existence, which is a keyword to formal philosophy. What is existence as much as what is truth? What does existence mean? When we say something exists, what does that mean? So existence applies to those objects which we can state truths about. It applies to those objects which are the primary predicates in a truth statement. Keyword, truth statement. Again, we have empirical truths and tautologous truths, so we can show the earth exists or the number one exists.